on TeaTime. This TeaTime, as I shared on the previous TeaTime, is all about the questions that you have on having a career in social media and content creating and everything in between. So I have all those questions here that you guys submitted to me, and I am going to just run through them as quickly as possible and as, you know, candidly as I possibly can. Before we jump in, I'm going to share with you the tea that I'm having. It is a new one that I just picked up, and it's from Yogi. Yogi is one of my favorite tea brands, and this is just a ginger tea. It has like a lemongrass, and it's really refreshing and soothing, very comforting. It's that tea weather time of year. So anyway, babe, so I have my ginger tea, and I'm gonna take a big gulp because obviously you heard me hacking. Super, super hot. Just the way I like it. Okay, so social media, content creating, and what is it like having a career in that? And just basically answering all your questions. So first off, I do want to say that this is definitely not a career for everyone. It takes a certain amount of self-motivation and determination and a special cocktail of creativity, style, and just a willingness to keep pursuing it even when you don't see the kind of results that maybe you're looking for. Being in social media is public, right? So you really have to have a passion that you want to build a community, and you feel like you have something to offer, something of value to share, and you want to make a difference. And I mean, it doesn't have to be so like, you know, huge and heavy that, you know, you want to help people get over depression or something like that. What I mean is, what is your intrinsic special traits and how you are going to share that with an audience that then becomes your community, that then leans on you to look for advice on a number of things, meaning leading to working with brands and why a brand, what is the value that you offer the community, and thus what is the value that you can present to a brand that they'd want to pay you for that community that you've built. And that's what it's all about, is that community. And as long as you recognize that, you need to focus on building a community, and then the other things kind of just fall into place. So I have this broken down into 3 categories, and the 3 categories are getting started, the basics. The next one is content creating, and then we'll finish up with brand partnership and making money, because I know that that's what everyone, the bottom line is, how do you make money, and is it something that you can literally like do full time? So we're gonna start with getting started, the basics. Question number 1. How to get started. So I know that sounds super basic, but because this is, I would say, a newer concept of sharing and creating an income, it's not like you could just find a book and basically see what it's like to become an influencer, content creator, blogger, so forth. Whereas like if you want to be an accountant, we know the steps. There's, you know, lots of accountants out there, you know the steps. You can go to school and learn all the things in between that. So I'm trying to give you like a little shortcut on, you know, the school of getting started. I do have a business partner. It is my lifelong BFF. We've been friends for over 20 years, and we started our brand, our blog, because she and I were like, what can we do for our future so that we're not working for someone else? And so we married our unique gifts together, and we formed a business, and that was, we really just wanted to share community. We wanted to share inspiration. We want to share lifestyle. And we want to share that as I'm a Black woman, she is Hispanic and white, and you know, she has children that are Black. Like, we just have seen so much in our own community here in LA growing up and being minorities or people of color, and it's, I feel like what is portrayed in social media on people of color or Black people for me sometimes can be very single note, and there's so much more depth to our personal communities that we're like, wait a minute, we travel, you know, we cook for our families, we have traditions that we share, we have fashion and music and style, like there's a lot of fitness, all those things in between. And so we wanted to build a community where we're celebrating that from the perspective of, you know, 48-year-old women, like where are we in the whole social media world? So that was our angle, and that is still very, you know, something that really fuels us, is wanting to see diversity of age, of, you know, color, all of that in social media. So that's a little bit on our history. So, and I'm saying all of that for the simple fact is, you, number one, have to see what is it about yourself and about what you want to share that sets you apart from others, and what is your value that you're going to offer that community. And I don't care if you're like, I'm a comedian and I love making skits and I like posting them on TikTok, I like dancing, I make up these great dances to music, it inspires people, makes people feel good, or I'm a badass cook. Like I throw out these recipes and I just want to share my recipes, and I want to collaborate with brands that like get that. I want to, you know, inspire people to make like 5-minute meals, or whatever it is that is your special, unique thing that you feel you have a value to share to a community. You really need to really harness that and really understand what is your value. I think that that is, because at the end of the day, this is not going to yield money and, you know, getting on all these, you know, amazing trips and being invited places and people wanting to send you things. That takes a lot of hard work to get to the place that you were being recognized for your value, and it's because you have a really firm understanding of what that value is, and you share it with your audience, and you've built this community of people that stand by you and celebrate what it is that you are sharing. Another way of getting started, so once you know, okay, I am this great cook and I really love cooking, very passionate about it, and I want to share healthy meals for families and that kind of thing, you should start studying what other food influencers or content creators are doing, really not to mimic, but to feel inspired and see what successful people are doing, the ones that you see that are already collaborating with other brands, and they, you know, they have a great platform and they have, you know, a community that they've already built. What is it that they're doing that has the right chemistry that's working? And that's just that is meant to be an inspiration for yourself. I have here, begin by beginning. You gotta start somewhere. Yes, so that means start documenting what it is that you're going to share. Find your creative, you know, perspective. I think that that's something that I've always been fine-tuning, and I continue to fine-tune. And when I say your creative perspective, I literally mean like your camera angles, like what is the lighting that you like? What is the mood? Are you gonna be editing your photos a certain way? There's a lot of things that you need to learn as a content creator before you even are like, oh, I'm just gonna share stuff, because people won't really be attracted to content that doesn't resonate with people. And I think that you have to understand what resonates with you before you can figure out, how do I take what's creatively inside me and spit that back out so it resonates to the masses. And then the final thing that we have here is creating an editorial calendar before you decide to like launch your social media platforms, whatever. Have it already stacked deep, 3 to 6 months worth of what you're going to share. And you might even want to go ahead and create that content so that once your YouTube is live, or your Instagram is live, or your blog is live, you already have a very solid richness that people can come to. And so in the beginning, you're not feeling like an avalanche of, oh my gosh, I've got to keep creating all this stuff, and it'll just, you know, set you right. You're already starting with, you know, a really solid set of content that people can become engaged with and be excited about, and through your excitement that they start following along and waiting for more and more and more. Let's see, the next one is, how do I grow an audience? I'm 46 and concerned about starting, consistency, patience. For most of us out here, most creators, it doesn't happen overnight. And some of the people that you see that they're influencers or content creators that have like 1 million plus followers, it is a grind that they have been working at for 5+ years, sometimes even 10 years. For us in the beginning to just hit like 10K, it took a lot of, like I say, consistency and patience and hard work, and just keep fine-tuning and honing all those other things that I was talking about. Your value, you have to keep going back to why you jumped on to a platform. Why are you there? And as long as you keep circling back to what is your value, what is it that you have to offer, and you do that consistently, and it becomes refined and very beautiful, you will begin to see your audience grow. Question, on average, how many hours do you spend working? I really can't quantify that. It is relentless, it is nonstop. I started TTL with Carol, and I was still working a full-time job. I was a corporate flight attendant for Magic Johnson, and in between, I mean, we have a brutal schedule. We were gone like half the year, in between cities, from hotels, from the back of the airplane, from the galley before I'm like making lunch for everyone, or, you know, I get to the plane, set it up. If there's something that I want to do, I'm writing blogs, I'm shooting from the road, I'm constantly, you know, before I go to bed, when I wake up. And I know that sounds really, really intense. There's something that Carol reminded me, something that she saw, which was, or read, you need to want this as much as you want to breathe. Like, it needs to be air to you. And I tell you that because no one else is going to respond. It just feels like you're gonna be there creating, you're gonna be there writing and editing and really honing all the different tentacles that you are out there trying to do at one time, right? It takes time, and it takes just so many hours that, like I said, I cannot quantify the amount of hours that I have spent over the last 5 years working TTL. So if that's something that's gonna get you hung up, like, I wanna have this be like, I only wanna work from here to here, then the results of that will probably be reflected in, like, is your audience growing? Are people really responding to your content and that? So the commitment, the time commitment is a moot situation for myself. I spend as much time as necessary to get the job done and for me to be proud of the work that I'm going to put out. Question, how do you balance it all? I need a team to help me. Where do I find them? So I know people think that, like, I have this, I don't know if people think, maybe you guys think I have a really big team or something, but I really don't. When it comes to like the content creating and all of that, it is me. And when it comes to the logistics of reviewing contracts and emails and keeping our calendar going, and like really blocking out posting days and all of the content creation, that's Carol. So I do the creative and Carol does sort of the behind the scenes, all of that needs to be done. We're a team of 2, and thankfully we do have each other to lean on and bounce things off of. But the only time that we have pulled together a team was when we did the Amazon The Drop thing, and I basically leaned into my daughter, May, who, you know, I share all the time. I love my baby. Well, she's super talented. She has super talented friends, and Zaya came on and worked as like a PA. So, you know, you have to be a little like wily, like, how am I gonna pull this together from the resources that I have at hand? And that's kind of like how we, for that project, pull together like a team of collaborators to help bring the project to life. Carol did put, she added a note, funny enough, TTL is looking for a personal assistant. I am looking for a personal assistant. I haven't like actually drawn up like all the things, the qualifications that I'm looking for, but this is, it's taken us, like I said, 5 years to get to this place where we're even fiscally thinking about, you know, having an additional employee, because Carol and I are employees of our business, of our brand. So we are on our very own payroll, which is super, super cool. And we are looking to bring someone on to our payroll with us, because I am drowning too. Like I do need help. But I'm gonna look in, you know, colleges and, you know, college boards or whatever. I'm not quite sure how I'm gonna find this person, but we'll see. How do you do it when your spouse doesn't want to participate? We all know I am not married to an Instagram husband. In fact, Mike is super duper private, and in the beginning, he really didn't know what it is that I was doing. Like, what, you're just gonna stand there and take photos or whatever, and he kind of was like not on Team TTL, and I was just like, well, that's good, you know, you don't have to get it, I know what I'm doing, sorta. And when it begins to make sense to me, then maybe you'll be able to see a little clearer, and I'll be able to communicate clearer what I'm doing and how you actually can build this into a business. And yeah, because he was just like, are you sure this isn't a hobby? Because you're not like actually making money, which was really hurtful because I felt like I was really busting my ass. I was really busting my ass, and the fact that I didn't have, you know, actual money coming in didn't negate the fact that what I was doing had value. I always believe that even though I'm not making any money at this, I know it's gonna turn a corner. I really believe in this. I really believe in Carol. I really believe that what we have is special, and I'm gonna just keep going at it, even though was not on Team TTL. But he totally gets it now. He's very supportive now, but he's not going to take photos for me or edit or do any of that for me. But as my friend and my husband, he, you know, is just so proud of us. How do you promote your brand but not get burnt out from the constant posting? Well, this is the career of consistency. So if you have a problem with consistency or burnout or anything like that, you might want to rethink this as a possible career. I'm not saying that I don't get burnt out, meaning I do now have like more of a work schedule. I don't work on Saturdays and Sundays and that kind of thing. But in the beginning, it's full tilt. Like there is no like, oh my gosh, I'm feeling burnt out, because it's you. And so you really have to ask yourself, do I have the stamina to endure this ongoing, you know, posting, editing, creating, posting, editing, creating. It's pretty intense, but it is really rewarding. I kind of, when I say it, it makes it sound like it's crappy or something, but it isn't. It suits me. It is my nature to be, you know, really consistent and detail oriented, and I have a lot of stamina to see things through. How did you gain followers? Mostly from reposted content. It is really important in the beginning and as you continue to grow your platforms that people they love your content so much that they want to share it, and they want to share it again and again and again and again. That's when you know that you've hit a stride and people are into it. Like, and the more that you're seen over social media, the more that people are gonna come to you and start following, and then you're gonna grow individually. Carol put that we've had some really like viral things that happened, and so whenever you go viral, it's just like money. I'm not saying your goal is to go viral, but if you have something go viral, you'll see an immediate pop, boom, like, oh my gosh, we're just growing. Let's see. Do you have to go all in, or can you start part-time if you can't give up your current employment? I literally just resigned from an excellent job, making excellent money that I did for a decade, and you heard who my employer was. I just quit, and they were like a family to me, but this was just in January. So I'm saying all of that because I really encourage you, please don't quit your job. Like, there's going to be so much more work that needs to go into it, and it is going to stretch you thin. But if you can make it through while keeping you know, that safety net of your current job that is paying you and keeping you housed and clothed and fed and all of those things, and build your social media game, and then you can walk away from that job and then focus on your passion. And for me, it took 4 years. So yeah, it took some time. How often do you post to gain a loyal following? I think that just is individual. Whatever you feel like is the, you know, if you want to post twice a week or 3 times a week, just be consistent in whatever that number is. That's my number one rule that I've learned, and I've sat in meetings with TikTok, I've sat in meetings with Instagram, YouTube, and it's always about consistency. You just want your audience to know, this is what I do, and this is how frequently you're gonna find it. Every Wednesday, you know, every day, depending if it's like Instagram, maybe you wanna do every day. If it's TikTok, well, some people post more than once in a day, but certainly maybe it's 3 times a week. Whatever it is, just do that consistently. How do you set healthy boundaries with social media when it's part of your job? So I think because I worked for a well-known figure, and even in corporate flight attending, I always used to fly like celebrities and people like that. I'm very versed with boundaries and not oversharing, but sharing just enough. So I think I naturally have that way of like knowing what is an appropriate amount to share without oversharing. I think also setting boundaries when you know, so social media in my sense, my platform is like my life, so it's my everyday lifestyle and that kind of thing. So when I set my boundaries, it's like maybe I'm going to take the weekend off, or I'm just going to post less, or you know, like on stories or whatever. I think you will begin to find your own ebb and flow. You just have to be respectful to the other people in your life and make sure that you're still giving all the categories in your life a little love. And you know, anyone who loves you will also begin to recognize, man, they're really passionate about this. I'm just gonna give them some space to do their creative thing. And like I said, it will take years, it could take years. So their support is, you know, is better than, you know, anything in the world. Having your family like throw some love your way, it just feels really great. But yeah, setting healthy boundaries is not something, it took some time for me to get there. Like I said, because I was just here, there, and everywhere doing so much things at one time. How do you make reels stand out amongst the multitude of others? Like I said, I've just recently had a meeting with Instagram and TikTok, and the number one thing that they unanimously say is pay attention to trends. So if you see a song or if there's a certain editing style or something that other people are doing, you should kind of hit that wave, get on it early, and try and create content using some of those trends, because that will get you discoverable, and then that means your content will get more views. And that's both for TikTok and Instagram. What platforms do you use to monitor your stats? We use Instagram. Has, once you create a business account through Instagram, they have an amazing analytics side. So we use IG. We also use Plan, which is it's a platform that you pay for, but it gives you really detailed information. It even gives you like what time of day to post and what color palettes are working, and that's really great. And we also use Planoly. Planoly is similar to Plan, but Planoly is amazing because not only does it keep stats, it also gives you the opportunity to do page layout or layout for your grid for Instagram, and it actually syncs with Instagram, so it'll post like directly to your feed for you, and you can kind of move the tiles around and see how you want your IG grid to look, if you're trying to keep an aesthetic going and so forth. And the final question on getting started, the basics, is how much do you do and how much does your team actually do? I think I kind of covered this already. My team, as far as we do have managers, and they really kind of work the contracts out for us, and they do like the negotiation with any brand partnerships that we're going to do. But other than that, either I do it or Carol does it. So there's literally, I really like the idea of a team, and one day maybe I will get to a place where I'm delegating a little bit more. I do thankfully have Nicolette, who actually she just started editing my TeaTimes, for example. So I have a control thing, guys. Like, I don't like to release things to people, but Nicolette, I trust. She's amazing. So delegating work, you will know when it's time to start the whole, like, I need a team of people to help me. But in the beginning, I'm the lighting person, I'm the director, I'm the stylist, the makeup artist, I do the hair, I'm the person, I'm the talent, I'm the editor, I'm the troubleshooter when things don't work, I'm the person that still has to be wife, mom, and cook. So I do everything. Like, this idea of a team is kind of like a bougie thing. I want to be bougie, don't get me wrong. I'm so waiting to be that person that just has a little lighter load, but this job is like, you do need to be able to hold it down for yourself. And fortunately, I feel like I have definitely paid my dues in that category. And like, traveling, who do you think took all those photos when I was traveling? I took them, you know, tripod, remote, and just letting go of those insecurities or embarrassment fears of like, oh my God, are people watching me? That kind of thing. You just let it go, let it go, let it go, and just get it done. So that concludes the first segment, which is, like I said, getting started, the basics. Okay, darlings, thank you so much for joining me on this really, really long tea time, but there was just so much information, there was no way that I wanted to skip any of it. You guys had some really great questions, and we can do this again. You know, maybe we could also update, I know we have a blog on this, but maybe we can update that on the blog as well. But until then, I'm going to finish my ginger tea, and I will see you, darlings, on the next one. Bye, and cheers.